Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Football Podcast. As always, this episode is brought to you by AdamandEve.com. If you go to AdamandEve.com and type in the promo code FOOTBALL, you'll get 50% off just about any item. And as always, I'm your host, Jesse Tapia, and for today's show, we're going to pretty much do how we do every Tuesday show. We're going to recap the Monday Night Football game in this first segment. After that, we'll talk about the AFC. Then we'll talk about, maybe we'll do some tiers again, how we do put each team in a tier, maybe do some power rankings, but we'll see how it goes, see how I'm feeling. But yeah, for the second segment, we'll talk AFC. Third, we'll talk NFC, and then for number 4, we might talk a little college football again. I'm not sure completely, so we got to wait on the rankings and all that, but we'll talk about news going on in football also. Talk about actually Jason Witten's name being linked to the Tennessee coaching job. Jason Witten already said he's not going to leave, but it's going to be something fun to talk about. So let's just get into it right now. But wow, that Monday Night Football game last night was extremely boring. It was pretty much a couple of touchdowns by Baltimore's running backs, and like as always, we're going to get into the stats in a little bit, but like I said, it was a couple of touchdowns from Baltimore's running backs. Lamar Miller scored a touchdown for Houston, and then it was just pretty much a battle of the kickers. And I mean, if you're going to have a battle of the kickers, you're always going to want Justin Tucker on your team, and that's pretty much what happened. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about Baltimore. They just was not a fun Monday Night Football game. Let's see. What do we got going on next week for Monday night? Maybe we got something better. Let's see if the football gods were good to us. Monday, we got Steelers at Bengals. That's all I got to say about that. Steelers at Bengals. Steelers are going to win that one. I don't think it's going to be a close game. Let's see. Monday night after that. We got Patriots at Dolphins. Another, not the best. Maybe after that, we got a good one, maybe. Falcons at Bucks. Oof. Not good again. And then, let's see, on Christmas, we have 2. We got Steelers at Texans. Come on. That's not Monday Night Football. That's on NBC. That's still Monday, though. Monday Night Football, we got Raiders at Eagles. Not sure how I feel about that. Do we feel good about that? And then let's see. Yeah, there's never a Monday Night Football game last week of the season. So these next few Monday night games, please, someone just give us something, man. Come on. Treat us like we're watching Thursday Night Football. Come on now. We want good games. We want close games. We want hard-fought games, but we're just not getting it. I mean, Steelers at Bengals, that could be a good one. Patriots at Dolphins, that's going to be a blowout probably. Falcons at Bucks, another Falcons one right there. It's probably not going to be a fun one. I mean, Eagles at Raiders is probably going to be the best one. And that's the last ESPN Monday Night Football game we're going to have. But hopefully that one is. But maybe, who knows, maybe Andy Dalton can, let's see. What's the Bengals record right now? I know I'm getting off a little bit off topic, but I'm going to talk about the Monday Night Football game, Baltimore-Houston in depth in a few seconds. But let's see. So Cincinnati's 5-6. Maybe they're on the come up. Maybe they can make it a good game next week. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, I know I'm not excited, but you know what? I'm going to be watching it, as always, okay? Because that's what I always do. Football's on, I'm watching it. I don't enjoy the Thursday Night Football games, but if it's on, I'm going to watch it. But let's just get into it now. Okay, so yeah, Houston went into Baltimore for last night's Monday night game. Baltimore won that one 23-16. Tom Savage, 252 yards, 2 interceptions. Lamar Miller, 17 carries, 51 yards, 1 touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins had 7 receptions for 125 yards. Braxton Miller had a decent game, 5 receptions, 43 yards. Joe Flacco had 141 yards, threw the ball 32 times, completed it 20 times. Took off with the ball 6 times and had 42 yards in result of that. Alex Collins, 16 carries, 60 yards and a touchdown. Buck Allen, 5 carries, 15 yards and a touchdown. And then Mike Wallace, 5 receptions, 48 yards. Also, the punter, Sam Cook, for Baltimore, he had 1 completion for 22 yards. It was actually a pretty decent throw, too. It was on 4th down. I think it was in the first half, too, when it happened. Maybe the first quarter. I can't remember exactly. But, the gunner for I think they're called gunners for on special teams when they're kicking the ball. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure they're called gunners. Yeah, so that guy goes down the field, and then you see Cook hold on to the ball. You're like, oh, he's going to throw it. He throws a pretty good ball. The gunner was in front of the guy that was taking him. I'm not even sure if he's called a gunner or not, but the guy running on the side, we got past the guy on the returning side, and the guy on the returning team on the Texans, which was the returning team, he wasn't that far off, so Cook had to make a decent throw, and he's exactly what he did. Like I said, it was a 22-yard pass, so he did good right there. Probably the most exciting moment of the game, to be honest. Danny Woodhead, it's always fun watching him. He had 4 carries for 22 yards. Let's see, 4 catches for 23 yards. So if you got him in PPR league, that's not too bad, I guess. But other than that, yeah, those are pretty much the stats. Let's get into that scoring summary. This is going to be a fun one right here. So let's see. First quarter, Lamar Miller, 4-yard touchdown run. That makes it 7-0. Buck Allen, second quarter, has a 10-yard touchdown run, which makes it 7-7. And then Alex Collins later on had an 8-yard touchdown run, which made it 14-7 Baltimore. And then Kami Fairbairn, yeah, I think it's Fairbairn, the kicker from the Texans. Not sure to pronounce his name. He kicked a field goal, which made it 14-10 Baltimore still. And then Justin Tucker. We'll talk about Justin Tucker actually when I'm done with the scoring summary. He had a 53-yard field goal, which made it 17-10. First half is over. Third quarter comes. Fairbairn had a 36-yard field goal, which made it 17-13. Baltimore still up. Justin Tucker, fourth quarter comes. 31-yard field goal, makes it 20-13. And then Fairbairn kicks another one, makes it 20-16. And then Justin Tucker once again, 49-yard field goal, which makes it 23-16. So like I said, wasn't the most exciting Monday night game, and we'll talk about each team in a little bit, but how about Justin Tucker? Is he the best kicker of all time? Not sure. I still got that Vinatieri guy who's done a lot, but Justin Tucker, like, it's weird. Whenever he kicks it, like, he'll kick it from like a 56-yarder, like 50-yarders. For kickers, you're happy if they just make it, you know? Oh, he kicked over a 50-yarder. That's pretty good. Justin Tucker, you know he's going to make it. You're just looking to see if the guy's going to kick it down the middle. And more times than not, the guy's going to kick it down the middle. Justin Tucker is so good. He's got me talking about a kicker on this podcast. I'm talking about a kicker, not a wide receiver. Not talking about, that's actually kind of sad, dude. That Monday night game, I started off talking about the punter making a good throw and then the kicker. But what you going to do, you know? Baltimore got the win. They're 6-5, currently got the 6th spot. But nonetheless, Justin Tucker, that guy is just a kicking wizard. Like I said, it's always down the middle. But that's just something that caught my eye. But yeah, let's talk about both teams right now. Let's talk about Baltimore. So Baltimore, like I said, currently 6-5. Sorry, man. I'm starting to get sick. The Sacramento cold weather is getting to me. But yeah, Baltimore's currently 6-5. And it's been the defense that's been winning them games. Let me see if I can pull up their schedule right here. See if we got some correlations. Let's see. Before this week, they faced off with the Packers. They won that one 23-0. So that's a good defensive game right there. Let's see what else we got. The game before that, they lost to the Titans 23-20. Oof. Game before that, they beat the Dolphins 40-0. Lost to the Vikings 16-24, and then lost to the Bears, beat the Raiders, so lost to the Steelers. So, like, the Ravens, their defense has been keeping them in it for the most part in most of their games. I mean, you got Terrell Suggs, who had a really good game yesterday. You got C.J. Mosley playing well, Brandon Williams, defensive tackles playing well. But, yeah, the Ravens, they're not an exciting team or anything like that. They're only 6-5. Like I said, they're sixth. They're in the wild card in the 6th spot. And let's see, if the season ended today, who would they be playing? They would be playing the Tennessee Titans. And you know what? Tennessee is currently 7-4. And if the season were to end today, you know who I'm picking in that one? I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore in the playoffs is just a dangerous team. And it doesn't matter how they did in the regular season. Let's see if I could find a comparison for that. I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head, even from other leagues. It's just Baltimore is, for some reason, is just always that one team where it doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. If they make it to the playoffs, and that's a dangerous team right there. If they make it to the playoffs, they always have a chance of making it to the AFC Championship game. And you know how they do. They make it to the AFC Championship game and then lose in heartbreak because that's just what Baltimore does. But this season, I think if they make the playoffs, and that's going to be a team that you're going to have to keep your eye on. Because like I said, they're capable of beating the Chiefs. Right now, the Chiefs are the 4th seed right now, and I think that they're going to end up losing out in the division to the Chargers, and the Chargers are going to take that division. So let's say the Chargers take the division, and Tennessee finishes as the division winner. Even Jacksonville, say so. Those 3 teams. Okay, Baltimore, if they finish as the 6th team, the 6th seed, they're going to be facing one of those 3 teams, I believe. Against Tennessee, Marcus Mariota really hasn't had all that good of a year so far. I mean, he doesn't fumble the ball, but he's throwing a lot of picks, and he's not throwing for too many yards, and I think that Baltimore's defense can handle him easily. I think they can handle Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray, and the receivers really for Tennessee, they're good, but they're not something you need to worry about. So, I mean, Baltimore, I think they can handle Tennessee. Let's say the Chargers. The Chargers probably, I'll talk about the Chargers last, actually. Let's talk about Actually, there's 4 teams actually they have a possibility playing: the Chiefs, Chargers, Tennessee, or the Jacksonville Jaguars. Against the Jaguars, no doubt in my mind that Baltimore could beat them. Both got really good defenses, but Blake Bortles plays for one team, so that's pretty much the deciding factor right there. Then against like a team like the Chiefs really, I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm only mentioning them because right there they're in the spot right there. I think they're going to give it up, but I think Baltimore could beat them. Alex Smith has been playing really bad. Like I've been saying, Andy Reid threw Kareem Hunt into the rookie wall. He's not even giving the ball enough. He's just I don't even know why, dude. Just all of a sudden, Andy Reid took the ball away from Kareem Hunt. But yeah, Kansas City's not looking like a good team right now. So I think Baltimore, if somehow Kansas City was to still limp into the playoffs, Baltimore could beat them. And honestly, I think the Chargers would give Baltimore the toughest time, and that's the team right there. The Chargers probably beat Baltimore, I think. There's a chance right there. I think I'm not even sure. It's early, so these aren't even like for sure predictions or anything like that. But if there was a team out of those 4 that could beat Baltimore, it's the Chargers. Okay, Phillip Rivers is playing incredible right now. Keenan Allen's playing well, and defense isn't the best, but they're playing well also. And then Melvin Gordon, he's always going to give you production. So really need to never worry about him. So yeah, like the Baltimore, if they were to make the playoffs, I still think that they'd have a good chance beating those 3 other teams. But Chargers would be the only team that would give them a run for their money. And you know what? The Chargers are probably going to finish in that 4th spot. So you might not even see them play Baltimore. So yeah, I think for sure if Baltimore makes the playoffs, they're going to win their first playoff game, and they're going to end up playing a team like the Steelers or the Patriots, and that's going to be a tough one right there. Yeah, it's going to be one of those teams if they win. So, I mean, I think if they were to finish 5th, and they'd be playing the Patriots if they win, and if they were finished 6th, they'd play the Steelers. And you just don't want to see Baltimore in the playoffs at all. It's just that they're that team that intimidates you. They're a scary team to play. Okay, they got those black jerseys. And it's just Baltimore it's just that one team. Like I was saying a few moments ago, it just doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. You can never count that, okay? Joe Flacco, above average quarterback at best the last couple of years, and it's just playoff Joe Flacco is just completely different, I guess. But excuse me. But yeah, if they end up making the playoffs, watch out for them. And let's talk about the Texans for a little bit. So Tom Savage, obviously not the guy at all. Okay, they should have signed Kaepernick when Deshaun Watson went down, just to see if they have any chance of making the playoffs, okay? Because Bill O'Brien, you started Tom Savage week 1, and that obviously he did nothing to show you that he deserves to start after that, because you pulled him after 1 week and then threw Deshaun Watson out there. Okay, I think just Bill O'Brien, once Deshaun Watson came out, he's obviously never going to say it because he's the coach, but honestly, I think Bill O'Brien gave up on the season as soon as Deshaun Watson came out, because honestly, if you're going to throw Tom Savage out there, then it doesn't make sense. Why are you throwing... It's just so frustrating, man. The AFC has just been a dumpster fire the entire year, and I hate talking about it because it just gets you so frustrated because I just feel like every team is incompetent except for the Steelers and Patriots, because you got the Buffalo Bills. They were 5-4, okay, fighting for the playoff spot. They had the 5th seed right there, I think it was, and then they benched Tyrod Taylor because the defense gives up 40 points to the Saints. And then Nathan Peterman comes in against the Chargers, throws 5 picks, boom, they lose a game right there. You throw Tyrod Taylor in the week after against the Chiefs, and you come out with a 16-10 win. It's just the AFC is just full of incompetence. This is why, like I said before, this is why Tom Brady's going to play till he's 45, maybe even further, dude. No one is a threat to the Steelers or the Patriots going forward, not even within the next few years probably. I just don't understand. I mean, the Jaguars, if they get a quarterback, but that's a big if. I mean, so far they've done this rebuild pretty well, but I mean, they've been rebuilding since 2009, it feels like. But I was just going to see. But like, as far as Houston, Bill O'Brien, he gave up on the season once Deshaun Watson came out, okay? He's not going to tell you he did, but he did. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick with it right there. Bill O'Brien gave up once Deshaun Watson came out. Probably thought, we'll throw Tom out there, Tom Savage, and you know what? We're going to get a high draft pick because there's no reason to throw Tom Savage out there. He gives you no chance to win whatsoever. He's just like Blake Bortles, okay? Jaguars, they got a Super Bowl not a Super Bowl ready team, but they got a team ready to compete for like an AFC championship, okay? The only reason they're not going to this season is because they got Blake Bortles playing quarterback. That guy, I say all the time, okay, whenever the Jaguars are playing, whoever they're playing, whatever opposing team they're playing, they're not just playing them, they're playing Blake Bortles too. They have to win despite his bad play. So, I mean, it's just, like I said, Bill O'Brien gave up on the season once Deshaun Watson came out. Okay, they're 4-7 right now. Their season's over. And he's never going to say it, but I think it's true. But that's all I got to say about that. Like I said, Monday night, Houston went into Baltimore. Baltimore won 23-16. Baltimore got a good chance of making the playoffs. I think they're going to. The Raiders, Michael Crabtree suspended for the next 2 games. The Raiders did not need that whatsoever. Actually, I'll save that. I'll save the Raiders talk for the next segment. So we're going to talk AFC, okay? So stay tuned for the next segment. We're going to do some AFC talk. We'll talk about the Browns, Josh Gordon. I might just do a little bit about every team and just pretty much do a little note about every team. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. But we'll be right back. And once again, this is the GSMC Football Podcast, and stay tuned. Hey, are you looking to spice things up in the bedroom? Have you been fantasizing about surprising your lover with an adventurous new toy or adult movie? Well, AdamandEve.com has an offer you're not going to be able to resist. If you go to AdamandEve.com, and for a limited time only, you'll get 50% off just about any item. But that's not all they're offering. Oh, no. When you select your one item at 50% off, you'll also receive 3 free adult DVDs, just in case you need that little inspiration. Plus a free extra gift so sensual, I can't even mention it on this podcast. And to top it all off, they're even willing to throw in free shipping on your entire order, and we all know how we love that free shipping. And trust me, they're not kidding about any of this. So check out AdamandEve.com today for this special offer. You'll get 50% off one item when you type in football for the offer code upon checkout. When you do that, you'll get 3 free DVDs, a free extra gift, and that free shipping. Just use the offer code football. That's FOOTBALL at AdamandEve.com. Again, that's FOOTBALL, football at AdamandEve.com. All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. If you missed that last segment, or just need a quick reminder, we covered the Monday Night Football game between Houston and Baltimore. I actually also gave a little future look at each of the upcoming Monday Night Football games. They're not the best, but hopefully we get good games. But yeah, I just talked about Baltimore. If Baltimore makes the playoffs, obviously they're going to be a tough team to beat in the playoffs. And then as far as Houston, when Deshaun Watson came out, Bill O'Brien basically gave up on the season by throwing Tom Savage out there. But like I said, it's all just my opinion, so it really doesn't mean too much. But it's just what I think, But as for this segment, we're going to talk some AFC football. So let's see, what team do I want to start off with first? Let's talk about the Raiders, okay? So the Raiders beat Denver, okay? Now they're 5-6, but Amari Cooper's out with a concussion, or not out with a concussion. He suffered a concussion in the game against Denver. I'm pretty sure it was a concussion. I think I also saw that he might have had an injury too. I can't remember exactly, so I'm not going to speculate on it, but I'm pretty sure he left the game with a concussion. And Michael Crabtree, he got in a big old fight with the Denver team. He's going to be suspended for 2 games along with Aqib Talib. Okay, one is not going to hurt the team, and one's going to hurt the team, okay? Guess you could guess that Aqib Talib, that's not going to hurt the team, okay? They're already a bad team. It doesn't matter. They already know where they're going to end up in the draft. It's probably going to be a top 5 pick or end up in the top 10 at least, okay? Raiders, they're 5-6, and Michael Crabtree, dude, why are you fighting? It's a gold chain. Get over it. Go buy another one. Why are you going to fight? Okay, you're 5-6. If you fight, you're probably going to get suspended. Okay, like I said, your team's 5-6. You're trying to fight for a playoff spot, all right? You just got blown out by the Patriots, but nonetheless, you're 5-6, okay? You're only a game back of the Ravens for that 6th spot. Let me see what else we got. Who's in the 5th spot right now? Jacksonville. So you're only 2 games back of Jacksonville, 1 game back of Baltimore, okay? You got one of the best quarterbacks in the league, a top 10 quarterback in the league, and Derek Carr, okay? Marshawn Lynch is looking like he's starting to figure it out because he's starting to get the ball a lot more. And then boom, you go out and you go fight because the guy's taking your gold chain. Okay, if you taped your gold, Adam Schefter tweeted that he taped his gold chain to his chest Okay, so obviously if he did that, he knows that Aqib Talib's probably going to try and try something. If you're going to do that or whatever, he should just let him snatch it, dude. Why are you going to hurt your team? And it doesn't matter if Talib tried taking it. You got to be the bigger person right there. And you know, he got it. Go out there and drop 10 catches and 100 yards on him for a touchdown because you've been doing it all season. Okay, Amari Cooper, that guy's got stone hands. That guy's, it's all in his head right now. He's got no confidence, so he can't catch the ball, obviously. So you're the main receiver on the team, and then boom, you go out and get suspended. Okay, you don't even know if Amari Cooper is going to be out and play this Sunday against the Giants. I mean, they should be able to beat the Giants maybe without them both. I'm not even sure, okay, because like you're going to be missing your two receivers most likely unless Cooper's able to get out of the protocol. But it just makes no sense. Why are you going to go out and get suspended for 2 games? It doesn't matter that I saw Jack DeRillo tweet that AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey didn't get suspended for the fight. Who cares? Get over it. Okay, this wasn't just a Jalen Green or AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey one-on-one fight. Okay, both teams were fighting. Okay, Crabtree, you see him throwing punches. I know that AJ Green pretty much chokeslammed Jalen Ramsey to the ground, but it doesn't matter. You don't go out there and you do that, okay? Jack DeRillo, it doesn't matter if it's not fair. It's just how it is, okay? The NFL has never been fair with anything they've ever done, so don't expect it now. And Michael Crabtree, it's dumb. Why are you going to get suspended? Why are you going to go out and fight, okay? Like I said, it just makes no sense. The team's trying to fight for a playoff spot, and this dude's putting himself first instead of the team. Okay, let the dude snatch a chain. Like I said, go out there, drop 10 catches on him, 100 yards and a touchdown. That's all you got to do, okay? It's just football. It's no big deal. Like I said, you got enough money to go out and buy another gold chain, okay? No one's going to think you're soft if you go and get your chain snatched again. Trust me, okay? No one's going to think that. No one cares enough, okay? Twitter might tweet about for a little, make some jokes, get over it. But, yeah, now the Raiders, they're going to be hurting if Cooper's not out. And even if he's out there, it doesn't really make much of a difference because the guy can't catch the ball to save his life. So we're going to see what the Raiders do. I mean, they should be able to pull it out against the Giants. They're going to be at home. Geno Smith's going to be the quarterback for New York. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the next segment, Geno Smith. But we'll see how it all plays out. But let's see, who else we're going to talk about? It was a nice little rant right there, actually. I already talked about Baltimore. Let's talk about Kansas City, okay? Kansas City, they're free falling right now, and they ain't got no parachute, okay? They have no parachute to save them right now, okay? I don't understand. Let me see if I could pull up Kareem Hunt's stats the last couple of games, but when I'm pulling that up, let me talk about Alex Smith for a little bit. Alex Smith, what happened to you? What are you doing, dude? You were playing so well. Now you're looking like the old Alex Smith, but yeah, he's not. I just don't understand why. How does this happen to Kansas City? Let's see. How did they start off? They started off the season against the Patriots, blew out the Patriots 42-7, beat the Eagles 2-0, beat the Chargers 3-0, beat the Redskins 4-0, beat the Texans 5-0. Is it 4-0? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Yeah, 5-0 right there, okay? Lost to the Steelers 5-1, lost to the Raiders 5-2, beat the Broncos 6-2, lost to the Cowboys 6-3, then lost to the Giants, one of the worst teams in the league, 6-4. Now you lost to the Bills, you're 6-5, okay? You're not just losing to good teams, you're losing to the Giants, not a good team. You're losing to the Bills, incompetent team right there, probably the most incompetent team in the AFC East, and that's saying a lot because the Dolphins are looking really bad and the Jets are screwing up a rebuild, okay? You lost to the Cowboys, Raiders, you lost to them when they were a bad team, okay? It's just the Chiefs, I don't get it. How can you, like, because, like, they were playing well and then they just fell off of a cliff, dude. They just fell off of an entire cliff. And like I said, they got no parachute, okay? Last game against the Bills, Kareem Hunt, only 11 carries. Let's see what he had against the Giants. Against the Giants, he only had, sorry, I'm pulling up the stats as we go right here. Against the Giants, he only had 18 carries, 73 yards. Not that bad, but probably still have gotten a lot more. Against the Cowboys, only had 9 carries. And then against the Broncos, let's see, how many carries did he have? He had, he had 22 carries. So I guess it's pretty much been the last 3 games where he's been getting less and less carries, okay? And I'm not sure if it's Andy Reid saying, you know what, against the Broncos and against the Cowboys, he really didn't play that well. Okay, well, the Broncos have, at the time, they did have a really solid defense, at least a solid defensive line. So, against the Broncos, that's tough. Against the Cowboys, okay, but you don't just stop giving him the ball, okay? The guy was in line to become the offensive rookie of the year. He was explosive, and then boom, you take the ball, it's like, people love to talk about the rookie wall, okay? And I love to say, you know what, Andy Reid, he picked up Kareem Hunt, and instead of coaching him up and giving him the ball still, he picked him up, threw him into that wall. He threw him into that rookie wall. So now you got Kareem Hunt who's not playing well. And if Kareem Hunt's not playing well, then Alex Smith isn't going to play well because Alex Smith is a guy who needs the players around him to play well, okay? And if Alex Smith isn't playing well, guess what? Tyreek Hill is not going to be making explosive plays. And if Alex Smith isn't playing well either, then you know what? Travis Kelce isn't going to get the ball. So they got the Jets next week. I'm not even sure if they're going to beat the Jets, dude. The Jets are playing at home. Josh McCown has been playing really good so far this season. And then you got the Raiders after that. Then you got the Chargers. Then you got a winnable game against Miami, and then you got a winnable game against the Broncos. Season might be over, dude. By the time they get to the Dolphins, okay? Because if they don't beat the Jets, I don't think they can beat the Raiders, and I don't think they can beat the Chargers. So they're gonna need to figure something out. But either way, it was just a colossal failure if they do not make the playoffs, okay? They were looking like one of the best teams in the league, okay? I was considering them good with Pittsburgh and New England, and you know what? It's not happening, dude. I think that Kansas City's going to fall out, and now let's move on to the next team, the Chargers, okay? I think the Chargers are going to take over that AFC West division. They're going to win it, okay? Because they got the Browns, and they got the Redskins, then they got the Chargers, the Jets, and the Raiders. All completely winnable games for them right there, okay? Against the Browns, they can win that one. I know they gave the Browns their first win of the season last season, but I don't think it's going to happen. Right now, Phillip Rivers is playing like the old Phillip Rivers. He's out of his mind right now. Okay, Melvin Gordon's playing well. Keenan Allen's been healthy all year. Cross my fingers, knock on wood, that he's going to stay healthy for the rest of the season. The defense isn't giving up too many points. Against Dallas, they only gave up 6. Bills, they gave up 24. Jacksonville, 20. Patriots, 21. Broncos, 0. Raiders, 16. Giants, 22. Eagles, 26. Chiefs 24, and then the Dolphins 19. So they haven't really been giving up too many points, okay? I think the most so far this season they've given up is 26, and that was to Philly. Let me double check it again right here. But yeah, the most they gave up was to Philly, and that's the best offense in the league right there, besides the Rams, obviously. So the Chargers defense is playing well. So, I mean, like, the Chiefs, they're done, dude. I'm done with the Chiefs. I'm not going to talk anything good about them. They don't deserve it, okay? They're not a good team. They have, like I said, it's just I've been saying all season, the AFC is full of incompetence, okay? Like I always say, this is why the boy Tom Brady, he's playing until he's 45, maybe even longer. This is why the Steelers are always going to win their division, always going to be at the top. You want to know why? Because those teams know how to run. They know how to run their teams, okay? You got Mike Tomlin out there. Dude is the definition of consistency along with the Patriots. But I'm just going to single out Mike Tomlin right here because that guy came in after Cowher. You coming in after Cowher. Cowher's one of the better, I don't know if I want to say he's one of the best coaches of all time, but Cowher won a couple Super Bowls, I believe it was, okay? Cowher won a Super Bowl. I remember one. I can't remember if he won the second one when he was there or it was Tomlin, okay? Tomlin's won one, okay? It's just like you coming in after Cowher, okay? That's a lot of pressure right there. And he's come in and he hasn't had, I don't think he's had a losing season since. I think his worst season was 8-8. And you know what? They were calling for his job. When your team's finishing 8-8 and there's kind of some speculation about your job. This was a few years back too, but there's speculation about your job. That means they only demand excellence, okay? So you got a team like the Steelers who are just definition of stability, okay? I think they've only had maybe, I can't remember how, they've only had like 4 coaches, I think it is, like in their entire history, something like that, okay? And then New England, they've been good since Bill Belichick was there and Tom Brady came in for Drew Bledsoe, okay? Whatever it is, you know what they do? They play to their team's, their players' strengths. They don't try and force their players to play in their scheme. And you know, I don't know why coaches haven't figured this out yet, okay? These players are all in the NFL for a reason. They're all professional players for a reason, okay? You got to play to their strengths, okay? As a coach, it's not about you. It's about the players, okay? And I feel like we don't understand this enough that just fans, owners, all that in general, it's all about the players. The players are the ones who are bringing in the viewers, okay? Players are the reasons why I'm watching. Josh Gordon's going to be playing Sunday. He's the reason why I'm going to be watching the Browns game too, okay? And it's just the players are the most important thing in the game. So you know what? Coaches, as far as game planning goes, you need to make your game plan and put your players in the best position to succeed, okay? That's what Bill Belichick does. And look at the guy's got 4 Super Bowls. Could have had 6 if he wanted. I think he's got 5 or 4. I can't remember exactly, but he's got a lot of Super Bowls, all right? So they need to figure it out. But Jacksonville right now, Jacksonville 7-4. They just lost to the Cardinals. And you know what? They're going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to get bounced in the first round if we're being honest here, okay? They're probably going to play a team, they're probably going to play the Chargers or a team like that. And you know what? Blake Bortles is going to be the reason why they're not going to advance. And if they do, then they're going to get blown out by the Steelers or the Patriots. It doesn't matter which, okay? Because you know what? They got the best defense in the league, okay? One of the best running backs, one of the best rookie running backs in the league, probably a top 10 running back already. And then they got a solid receiving core. Marquise Lee has been doing his thing, even with Blake Bortles playing quarterback, and Allen Hurns is always going to have a decent game. So you know what? Blake Bortles needs to figure it out and just be better. That's it. Just be better. You're a professional quarterback. Complete the throws to your receivers, okay? Don't try and force it or overthink it, okay? You got to take the check down. Take the check down, okay? Throw it to the open guy. And if not, just let your running backs do you can't even let your running backs do the thing because the defenses are going to stack the box and force Blake Bortles to beat them. So, that was a nice little rant right there. But it just makes no sense to me, okay? Then you got Buffalo starting Nathan Peterman 1 week, throws 5 interceptions. Now they're 5-5. You throw Tyrod Taylor out there, boom, he gets you the win against Kansas City. And now because of them taking out Tyrod, I'm not saying that they would have beat the Chargers or anything like that, but you know what? He would have gave them the best chance to win against them, okay? Because obviously Peterman winning, he threw 5 interceptions. So now they're on the outside looking in, tied with Baltimore at the same record. But you know what? Baltimore's got tiebreaker over them. So we're going to see how it all plays out. But the AFC is just full of incompetence, okay? Steelers, Patriots, they're going to be in the AFC Championship. Don't overthink it. There's no reason to think otherwise, okay? I think the best teams right now, honestly, like talking right now, not even about records, the best teams right now goes the Steelers, the Patriots, and then the Chargers, okay? Tennessee is a 7-4. They're not playing like a 7-4 team. Kansas City is on their way down. Jacksonville won't do anything with that quarterback there. Baltimore right now, talking about right now, once the playoffs come, they might be a scary team. The Chargers, they're playing amazing right now. Phillip Rivers is playing well. Melvin Gordon is playing well. Keenan Allen's playing well. And like I said, the defense is playing well right now. The 3 best teams in the AFC as of right now, as far as their play right now, not even thinking about records, is the Steelers, the Patriots, and the Chargers. So we'll see how it all plays out, but that's all I got to say about the AFC. Man, they give me a lot to talk about, but I'll actually talk more. I said I was going to talk about Josh Gordon, but I'll talk more about him in the last segment. But next up, we're going to talk about the NFC teams. Probably going to say a lot of good things about them, because you know what? Those teams, it's a lot of good teams in the NFC right now, so we'll do that. But like I said, thanks for listening to this segment. We'll be right back. This is the GSMC Football Podcast, and stay tuned.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. In that last segment, I went on a nice little rant about the AFC. If your team is not the Chargers, the Steelers, or the Patriots, I did not say nice things about your team whatsoever. Okay, like I said, I always say it, I'm going to say it again. AFC, full of incompetence. I don't understand why, but they just need to figure it out. This year, it's going to be the Steelers playing the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, unless the Chargers are able to sneak their way in there. Other than that, it's going to be the Steelers and Patriots. But nonetheless, let's talk about the NFC. Let's say some good things. So Philadelphia, all right, 10-1 right now, playing. They beat the brakes off of the Bears, just destroyed them 31-3. Next week, Philly's got let me pull up Philly's schedule right now. But before I even do that, Carson Wentz, clear MVP front runner right now. I know people want to talk about Tom Brady, but you know what? Carson Wentz is playing on the best team in the league right now. Next week they got the Seahawks on Sunday night in Seattle. That's a game they can win. I really hope that they end up flexing the Rams and Eagles game, which is the week after they play the Seahawks. I hope they flex that to Sunday night in LA. That's gonna be a fun one. Probably that'll be the game of the weekend. I don't even know who's playing that weekend either, Sunday and Monday, but I already know Eagles versus Rams is going to be a fun one right there. But the best offenses and best defenses going up against each other. I mean, what more could you ask for? And then they got the Giants after that, then the Raiders and the Cowboys. So really the only game that they're going to have trouble, this team might go 15-1. If I had to put my money on it, I'd say they're going to go 15-1, okay? I think they're going to beat the Seahawks. I think they're going to beat the Rams. It's going to be a good game, but I think they'll be able to beat the Rams, okay? I think they can easily beat the Giants. They can beat the Raiders, and they can beat the Cowboys. The only reason why they wouldn't go 15-1 is if they were to slip up against the Rams, or if they were to just rest their starters for the last 2 weeks, okay? Because they got the division locked up already. That division's done. Dallas is done. Washington, if they're playing for anything, it's the wild card, and the Giants have been done since the season started, so Yeah, but right now, I mean, you got last against the Bears, okay? They brought in Jay Ajayi. You think he's going to be the guy? But LeGarrette Blount, not so fast, he says. Okay, he had 17 carries for 91 yards, I think it is. So, when you got LeGarrette Blount playing well, and then you got Jay Ajayi in your back pocket ready, you got Carson Wentz out here making any throw he wants to, okay? Alshon Jeffrey's having a big game. I think he signed a 1-year deal with Philly. If I'm him, I'm signing a long-term deal with Philly because this team's going to be good for they're going to be good for a while going in the future, okay? Philly is going to be good. They're going to have a stranglehold on that NFC East, I think it is. Maybe when Zeke comes back, Dallas is going to be able to pick it up, but that's not going to be they're not going to be good until next season, okay? Because Dak Prescott, we'll talk about him in a little bit, but right now, Dallas is not a good team without Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, the Redskins are not a team that scares me going forward. They're going to lose Kirk Cousins probably at the end of the year, most likely. And then the Giants are going to be in full rebuild mode. They're going to lose Eli, I think, and at the end of the season. And I know they got OBJ playing receiver, but he's got to come back from his injury. Not sure how he's going to come back. And I think this might be next year might be the last year of his contract. I think it is, or this year. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's next year for sure. But who knows if he's going to stay, dude? These new NFL players, I like it. They're kind of selfish, okay? They're doing what's best for them. They're going to the teams they want to go, and they're signing the contracts they want to sign. Before, I know we were used to loyalty from players and their teams, but now we're starting to get these selfish players doing what's best for them, and I like it because, this is a job for them. But, like I said, the Giants are going to be rebuilding. So as far as going back to Philly, I mean, they're probably going to finish the season 15-1 unless they lose to the Rams. Seahawks, there might be a chance since Seattle's playing at home, but no Cam Chancellor, no Richard Sherman. So it's going to be difficult for them. But I like the Eagles against the Seahawks next week. And, like I said, the Eagles right now to me are the best team in the NFL. They're better than the Patriots, and they're better than the Steelers. So we'll see how that all goes for them. But let's see. What other team should we talk about? Let's talk about the Rams and Saints. Okay, so the Saints and Rams faced off this weekend on Sunday. Rams won that one 28-21, I believe, 30-21. I can't remember exactly, but Rams, they took a big loss against the Vikings 24-7 the week before. And what do they do against New Orleans? They come back and they punch him in the mouth and they play well. Okay, Drew Brees really couldn't do much in the second half. Like, you're waiting for Drew to come back because that's what he did the week before against the Redskins, but he couldn't do it. The Rams just simply, the defense showed up again, and this one they didn't do much against the Vikings, and for this one they just pretty much weren't going to let Drew Brees and co. push them around. I know Alvin Kamara had a good game. He had a really big game, actually. I think he had 86 yards rushing, 101 yards receiving, but it's just the Rams. They're a good team. They showed, we lost the Vikings, but don't count us out. Don't write us off yet. Okay, we're still one of the top teams in the league right now. They're 8-3. Same with New Orleans. They lost to the Rams this week. Let me see. Let me pull up their schedule here. Yeah, they lost to the Rams 26-20. They got the Panthers next week. Saints need to win that game. That one's at home. They're playing at 1:00 Pacific time. And right now the Saints are favored, as they should be, okay? So, I mean, that's going to be for the division lead right there. If Saints lose, then they're going to fall into the wild card. And if Carolina wins, or if they win, then they're going to stay if the Saints win, then they're going to stay at the top of that division. So we're going to see how it all goes. But the Saints, I mean, Kamara is just rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year right there, since Andy Reid single-handedly took Kareem Hunt out. Alvin Kamara is going to be your rookie of the year. And then that defense has been playing well for the most part this season. Drew Brees has been having a solid year. Michael Thomas is playing well. Ted Ginn's having one of his better years of his career. He's getting a lot of targets, and he's catching the ball. He's not just a deep threat or just a one-route type of guy like he's always been. So, like the Saints, Rams, and let's see, the Vikings too. Another good team. Case Keenum. Minnesota has a good problem going up this offseason, okay? Case Keenum's going to be the quarterback, I think, for the rest of the season, unless they just become like an AFC team and become incompetent and throw Teddy Bridgewater out there if Keenum has a bad game. I don't think they'll do that, though. I think you just pretty much ride or die with Keenum for the rest of the season. Case Keenum's been playing really well. Picked him up on my fantasy team. Hopefully he plays well for me because Marcus Mariota's been a huge disappointment this season. But that's just a conversation we'll have Thursday on the Fantasy Football Podcast. But as for right now, Case Keenum's been playing well. It's pretty much pick your poison with I don't even know if that's the right metaphor analogy. I don't even know what it is. But Latavius Murray or Jerick McKinnon, they've been both playing really well. It's pretty much been one guy does well one game, the other guy does well the next game. So you're pretty much not going to get a drop-off at running back. And then you got Adam Thielen, one of the best receivers in the league. He's not going to get his praise because he's just a small receiver. Everyone's going to think of him like a Julian Edelman, when in reality he's out there making Case Keenum play well too. Case Keenum's a good quarterback in this system, but Adam Thielen's out there making catches where if Case Keenum doesn't put it on the money, Adam Thielen's going to be able to make that difficult catch in order to bring it in. He's like I saw someone tweet Adam Thielen's an accuracy receiver. He's gonna make your quarterback's accuracy look a lot better than what it actually should be, just because of how well he can catch the ball and how well he could adjust. So Adam Thielen's been playing well. Let's see who else. Kyle Rudolph is a solid tight end. So right now, I think it's honestly gonna. I don't even know. You got Carolina, okay? Like I said, Carolina, they're 8-3 right now. Okay, Cam Newton hasn't really had the best year throwing the ball, but nonetheless, he's been putting them in position to win. Okay, he's been doing it with his legs, which is really good. Then you got Atlanta, who's looking like they're starting to pick it up. Devontae Freeman, ever since he came down with a concussion, Tevin Coleman stepped up and played well. And then it's like almost like, I don't want to say like it's like a correlation, I guess. It's not like the main cause, obviously, but when Devontae Freeman came down, it's like that offense opened up big time, because then you got Julio Jones playing well. He had 254 receiving yards the other day and 2 touchdowns. I think it was like 11, 12 catches, I think it was. So he's having a really good game. Matt Ryan's been playing well. He hasn't been turning the ball over or anything like that. And for most of his interceptions, honestly, this season haven't been really his fault. So you got, it's pretty much, let me count it down. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams realistically that you can say, you know what, this team has a chance. These 2 teams, 2 out of those 7 teams have a decent chance, or actually a really good chance of playing the NFC Championship. Okay, Philadelphia, I think they're going to be in the NFC Championship for sure. Then it's pretty much a toss-up between Minnesota, the Rams, New Orleans, Carolina, even Atlanta and Seattle. Seattle might not even make the playoffs. If they do, then you can't count Seattle out. They got to beat Philly this week in order for them to really just stay with everyone in that little group right there. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to, because I'm not sure if they're going to be able to, because like right now, it's just like I said, Philly's the best team in the league right now, and they're playing lights out. But yeah, as of right now, Philadelphia, Minnesota, the Rams, New Orleans, Carolina, Atlanta, Seattle, all great teams. All better than the teams in the AFC, except for the Patriots and Steelers. If you were to take out the Patriots and Steelers and compare those 7 teams to anyone else, I'm going to tell you, you know what? All of those teams are way better than who you're comparing them to. But obviously, that's not how it works. But but either way, let's talk about some other teams from the NFC. Right now, Detroit, they're 6-5. They took a loss to the Vikings right now on Thursday for Thanksgiving. They got the Ravens coming up this week in Baltimore. Then they got the Bucks, the Bears, the Bengals, and then the Packers. They might have to win out in order to make the playoffs. I think they're gonna. Yeah, I think that's what it's gonna have to happen. I think they're gonna have to win out, but that's not something that's like too far off. Okay, against the Ravens, that's gonna be their toughest game right there. If Matt Stafford can pull that one off, then they'll have no problem beating the Bucks. They'll have no problem beating the Bears. They can beat the Bengals, and against the Packers is when Aaron Rodgers might be back playing them. So that's going to be a tough one right there too. But in order for the Lions to make the playoffs, I think they're going to have to win out. Okay, but Matt Stafford so far this season has been playing really well. He's not getting enough credit like he should be. Okay, Marvin Jones Jr. has been playing well. Golden Tate's kind of cooled off a little bit, but he's been playing well for most of the season, and I expect him to pick up against the Ravens. But like I said, if Detroit's going to want to make the playoffs, it's going to be tough, because the NFC right now is by far the better conference. There's no doubt about it. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. It's just simple. Usually I like to say, it's my opinion, but I might be wrong. But like right now, there's no argument. The NFC is way better than the AFC right now. So yeah, the Lions just got to win out right now. And then let's see, Dallas right now. Dallas, they're sad to say, but Dallas is done, okay? Dak Prescott, right before Ezekiel Elliott's suspension, like right when Ezekiel Elliott got his suspension, he accepted it, and then he flew off to Germany or wherever it is he was to train. I was talking about Dak Prescott, like he's a good quarterback, okay? Of course, because like I say, people like to compare him and Wentz a lot, since they're both in the same division. One plays for the Cowboys, one plays for the Eagles, so obviously they're going to get compared. And I was like, you know what? Wentz is better, but Dak's not that far off. I was completely wrong about that, okay? Dak Prescott is not who he's shown us to be when Ezekiel Elliott's not out there. I'm not going to say he's a fraud, but he's just not as good as advertised, you know? He doesn't make a lot of deep throws or anything like that. He's a game manager quarterback when Ezekiel Elliott's not out there, and it's just like, it's now like next season when Ezekiel Elliott comes back, boom, just stack the box and force Dak Prescott to beat you, because obviously you've seen without Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott is not really that good of a quarterback. And like I said, he completed 20 out of his 27 passes against the Chargers, but he only threw for 179 yards and he threw 2 interceptions. So the guy's just not a good quarterback when Ezekiel Elliott's not out there. And then let's see, Chicago, I think they got their quarterback for the future. But as far as everything else goes, like they have to just completely rebuild. They need new receivers. They got their running back in the future in Jordan Howard. I'm not sure how the offensive line is looking. The defense is young, so you just got to give them time to develop. So really, I mean, yeah, they just need a whole new receiving core. They need probably a new tight end because you're not sure how Zach Miller's going to come back if he ever does. I mean, he's going to get that whole leg, knee healed up. So hopefully he does, but I'm not sure. And like I said, I'm not sure about the offensive line. So I think Chicago, they play bad, but I think that Mitch Trubisky is going to be the guy going forward. I mean, like I said, we've only had a small sample size, and we're just going to see in the next season. He's got to be the starter week 1 next year, so we're going to see how it all goes. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're going to fire John Fox too, because I mean, they're 3. I think John Fox, like he's how do you say, he's overstayed his welcome in the NFL. I think he's done, dude. I don't think he's a good coach anymore. He's just one of those dudes where, you know what, football has changed, and you know what, he's old school, and it's not for him anymore. Okay, the game's passed him up, I think. So I think they need to get rid of John Fox, and then for San Francisco, I finish this up. Jimmy Garoppolo came in the last minute, and I think talked about it a little bit on the last podcast. But he looked good out there. I mean, he had good pocket presence. I wasn't really looking to see if he was going to throw a touchdown. I mean, he did, but that didn't really matter to me. I was looking to see how he complete his throws, how he moves around in the pocket, if he's aware. And he looked good, so we'll see how it all goes. But that's all I got to say about the NFC right now. For this last segment, we're going to maybe talk a little. Yeah, we're going to talk a little about Tennessee and Jason Witten. And we're going to talk about pretty much anything else going on. We'll talk about Josh Gordon, Eli Manning, the Giants. And yeah, just like I said, stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. This is going to be the last segment of the show. I know you're sad. I'm sad too. This has been a fun one throughout. In that last segment, we talked about the NFC and said a lot of good things about each team. Talked about the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, how he's not as good as advertised. This is when Ezekiel Elliott's not out there. And it's pretty much talked about the Eagles. Pretty much talked about how it's pretty much a 7-team race, and only 6 teams get into the playoffs. But it's pretty much a 7-team race. I mean, once that 7th team doesn't make it, I mean, it's gonna be like every team that makes the playoffs has a chance to make it to the NFC Championship, and it's just crazy how well every team has been playing in that conference. But for this segment, it's pretty much how it always is. It's news and notes in football. And actually, before I even get into that, I was looking through my ESPN app. And I saw a headline that said Jason Witten won't leave for the Cowboys for the Tennessee Volunteers football coaching job. You know what that tells me? It tells me that Tennessee is desperate right now, okay? Tennessee is, I'm going to say it right now, okay? I said it on the sports podcast too, but I'm going to say it on the football podcast. Tennessee is the most overhyped and overrated football team in the history of college football. It's not even close, okay? The only reason they get hype and they get overrated is because they play in the SEC, okay? They're not a good team. They haven't been a good team really since I don't even know when. It's been a while. I can't even remember the last team Tennessee was just a relevant team. Yeah, they might make a bowl game or two, if that, but as far as everything else goes, I mean, the last time I remember Tennessee, not even me remembering, it's just the last time I could think of Tennessee being a good football team was when Peyton Manning was there. Okay, Peyton Manning is retired already out of the NFL, okay? It's just, Tennessee, it's just comical to see that now they're looking for, thinking of Jason Witten, I'm not even sure it's completely, if it's completely like true or anything like that, but the fact that he's linked with it shows that Tennessee really has no true direction where they want to go now. They don't have, they're not going to be bringing in Greg Schiano. Okay, I've been seeing that they might bring in the USC offensive coordinator, I think it was, and I'm not too sure how he'd fit in there, or how he'd do there, or anything like that. But it's just Tennessee. Like I can't. Like it's just Tennessee is just, they're just so overrated and overhyped. It's just, I don't understand. It's just only because they play in the SEC, I guess. But Tennessee, like, why is that still like a desirable job? I mean, Lane Kiffin, he's coaching at Florida Atlantic University. He doesn't even want to go back there. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But as for news and notes, Darren McFadden, he retired. He retired today, I believe it was, which is he retired Tuesday. And Darren McFadden is one of those players we're going to look back on. We're going to think, man, if he wouldn't have got injured all those times in Oakland, who knows what he could have actually been. Because when he wasn't hurt, he was out there running the ball extremely well. And I remember... but I remember in his first year with Dallas, I think it was, he ran for over 1,000 yards. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he ran for over 1,000 yards in his first season with Dallas. So Darren McFadden, like I said, yeah, actually I'll get into that right now. But yeah, like I said, he's just going to be that one player where it's like, man, if he wouldn't have got hurt, he could have been one of the better running backs in the league for a long time. And he played 10 seasons. So, I mean, as far as stats go and as far as how high Oakland drafted him, obviously that's not like, I guess, on paper a good NFL career, but the guy lasted in the league for 10 seasons. NFL, like they say, it stands for not for long. So the fact that he was out there for 10 seasons shows, I mean, I consider that a successful NFL career for him. I mean, like I said, the stats and stuff aren't there, but like when he was out there healthy, I mean, like I said, you can't really control when you're healthy and when you're not. It's pretty much whether you get hit hard and boom, you're hurt. But when he was healthy, he was one of the better running backs. But it's just sad to see him go. Hopefully he has a good retirement. And then let's see, what else do we got? This Sunday, Eli Manning will not be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. Yeah, he will not be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. They're going to go with Geno Smith this week. And I think that, honestly, this is, now that I've been thinking about it, this is Eli Manning's last year for the Giants. I think it's going to be time for them to rebuild. I mean, they're going to have a top 5 pick, I think. So go Sam Darnold, go Josh Rosen, maybe even Josh Allen, although I think that he's going to end up in Denver. Just because I feel like that's just the most, we'll talk about Josh Allen in Denver a little bit. But yeah, I just feel like Eli Manning, like there's no reason really for them to keep him around anymore. The guy's a Hall of Famer, I think. People are going to point to his interceptions. You want to know who has the most interceptions all time? Go look at Brett Favre. You think he's a Hall of Famer? Yeah. Eli Manning, top 10 in touchdowns, top 10 in passing yards, I believe. I think he's top 6 in touchdowns, too. And Eli Manning, no matter what you think, the guy's got 2 Super Bowl rings, and he's got the stats to back it up. Like I said, interceptions, who cares? Brett Favre's got the most interceptions in the history of the NFL, I think it is. And then you know who's got the most missed shots in the history of the NBA? Kobe Bryant. So go ahead and tell me Kobe Bryant, because he has the most missed shots of all time, that he's not a Hall of Famer. You can't, exactly. Okay? People don't like Eli Manning just because they just don't like Eli Manning for some reason. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. The guy won 2 Super Bowls, okay? He's made, he's got his Super Bowl moments with the David Tyree catch. I mean, I know he just threw the ball up there, but nonetheless, he's the guy who threw it. Then he has that, I think it was to Mario Manningham. Excuse me, I had a cough right there. But in the second Super Bowl against the Patriots, I think it was to Mario Manningham when he made that throw on the sideline. Manningham made a good catch, but you know who put the ball there? Eli Manning. So Eli Manning, definitely a Hall of Famer. He's probably going to end up, maybe he'll end up in Denver. I mean, if he ends up in Denver, I mean, all you got to do is just fit the ball. Like I don't think he's a bad quarterback yet. He's getting older. His ability is starting to deteriorate, but I don't think he's a bad quarterback yet. So, I mean, all you got to do is fit the ball to Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. Okay. They need to, let's say if they do bring in Eli Manning, then they probably use that first pick on a offensive lineman. And, who knows, maybe Denver, because I know that Denver defense, with how bad they've been playing, they're not that bad, actually. Okay. I know what they're showing us. That's not who they are, okay? But they're playing that bad because you know what? They have no chance. Trevor Siemian is a bad quarterback. Paxton Lynch, not a good quarterback. Brock Osweiler, the worst quarterback in the league. I'm just going to say it right now. Brock Osweiler, the worst quarterback in the league. Still don't know why the Texans gave him all that money. I mean, the Browns gave up a second. They gave up, I can't remember what the trade was, but someone gave up a second-round pick just to get rid of him. Yeah, the Texans gave up him and a second-round pick to the Browns just to get rid of the guy, okay? You were good. He was good at Arizona State. Too bad this is the NFL, and your college stats don't matter, okay? But yeah, so don't be surprised to see if Eli Manning maybe ends up with a team like Denver or even Jacksonville, okay? Because Tom Coughlin's in that front office, okay? And like I said, that team is ready to compete for an AFC championship. And if they were to throw in a guy like Eli Manning, and he doesn't got to do too much for, like I said, he doesn't have to do too much for a team like Jacksonville, okay? Because that defense, the defense is already winning them games with Blake Bortles as the quarterback. So if they got Eli Manning out there, he's a huge upgrade over Blake Bortles for sure. And pretty much any quarterback they draft would be an upgrade over Blake Bortles. I think I still want them to get Lamar Jackson. I want him to be the quarterback of that team next year, but I don't think it's really going to happen. Actually, it might happen if the Jaguars don't get Eli Manning, they're probably going to end up with Lamar Jackson, and that's going to be the funnest team in the NFL to watch next year. I'm just going to tell you right now, I really hope the Jaguars get Lamar Jackson, because if they do, watch out for them. I know he's going to be a rookie quarterback, but like I said, he doesn't have to be that good. He just has to be better than Blake Bortles, and that's not hard, okay? But let's see, what else do we got? Josh Allen, Denver Broncos. I think I talked about the couple podcasts back, but I'm almost positive. Actually, before I even get into that, Jimmy Garoppolo, just got the update on my phone right now, 3:24 p.m. Pacific time. Jimmy Garoppolo is named as the 49ers starter this Sunday for the Bears. So let's talk about Jimmy G for a little bit. I know I talked about, gave a few little notes about him at the end of the last segment, but like I said, now we're going to see what Jimmy G can actually do. Okay, he's only got probably about 2 games and about a minute under his belt for his NFL career, okay? Preseason doesn't matter to me what he's done or anything like that. Now we're going to see what he can do in a full game. He's probably going to finish out the rest of the season. Let me see who they got going forward. They got the Bears next week. Then they got, let me pull up the schedule right here. It might take a few moments. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how Jimmy Garoppolo plays going forward. I mean, the Niners gave up a high second round pick for him. So obviously, and that's one thing too. The Patriots, they're going to end up with probably maybe the last pick in the first round, and they're going to probably end up with the first pick in the second round. Those guys just stay lucky. I don't know how they do it. It's just, I don't know. They're taking advantage. But now you got the Bears, then the Texans, the Titans, the Jaguars, and Rams. Let's say, okay, so Jimmy Garoppolo I'm not gonna lie, he looked good. He looked good in that minute that he played, okay? Let's say he translate that 1 minute into an entire NFL game. They can beat the Bears, okay? And they can beat the Texans, Titans, and Jaguars. They have no, okay, so if Jimmy G is going to win a game, it's going to be either the Bears or the Texans. He might be able to win both, okay? Because he's not beating the Titans, I don't think, and he's not beating the Jaguars. That's for sure. That's a lock right there. And he's not beating the Rams. That's another lock unless the Rams just rest their starters, which I doubt they'll do, okay? So these next 2 games against the Bears and Texans, these are the 49ers' next 2 best chances to get wins and finish finish like 3-13 or whatever. It's 2-14, whichever. It doesn't really matter because they're going to be probably the second pick in the draft either way. But this is going to be interesting to see for John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan to see if they have their quarterback. Because if they got their quarterback, boom, you can go Saquon Barkley right there for your second pick, and boom, you got your quarterback, and then you got your running back, you got Pierre Garçon, and then you got your deep threat and Marquise Goodwin. Okay, and that defense. I know Reuben Foster, he hasn't really been able to stay healthy, but when he was out there and he's playing extremely well, and hopefully he does stay healthy because I really wanted him for Miami, but ended up with Charles Harris. But nonetheless, Reuben Foster is a good running back, so if Jimmy G is the real deal, we're going to find out. But like I said, if he plays well, then boom, you got Saquon Barkley right there, and the 49ers rebuild is pretty much, like, it's still going to be going, but it's already sped up. But what was I talking about before the 49ers? I was talking about something. Let's see if I can jog my memory looking at each team. I can't really think of anything. I can't really think of what I was talking about. But Sunday, Josh Gordon, he's back. I know I've talked about him, I think, on Monday's podcast a little bit, and I talked about him on the sports podcast earlier today. But Josh Gordon, really excited for him to come back. Really glad that he's got his head on straight. And like I said, I was saying earlier in the beginning of the show, I think it was, Josh Gordon, the guy's one of the best receivers in the league when he's out there. Small sample size, doesn't matter. As far as Josh Gordon goes to me, I might be a little impartial about him, or if that's even, I don't even know if that's the right word, but Josh Gordon, when he's out there, like I said, he played 14 games in his first season, I think it was, because he got suspended for the first couple, and he had, I think it was 60? I think it was 1,600 yards and 9 touchdowns. Okay, and that's with Brandon Weeden. And Jason Campbell playing quarterback. Imagine me being out there. I might be able to get Josh Gordon to maybe about 200 yards per season. That's me playing quarterback. That's pretty good. I don't have much of an arm, but yeah, it's just I'm really excited to see Josh Gordon. Let's see, who are they playing this week? I think they're playing the Chargers. You know what, dude? I might Friday's when I'm going to do my predictions, but I might just have to pick the Browns against the Chargers this week. Let me see. Let's see. I think it's going to be in LA. It's always weird. I always want to say San Diego, but now that they're playing in LA, it's kind of hard. Oh, yeah. So it's going to be in LA. Chargers are favored by 14 points. That's way too good to pass up. Friday, I know we got to make our picks then, but this is going to be my early pick. I'm going to let you guys know now, okay? I'm going to pick the Browns against the Chargers, okay? I might be a little blind to the fact that, you know what, Josh Gordon's first game back. I don't care. Last year, the Chargers, I think it was, gave the Browns their first win of the season, so I think it's going to happen again this season. Like I said, Chargers favored by 14. Browns haven't won a game. Josh Gordon's first game back. It's way too good to pass up right there. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. But anything else going on in football right now? College football rankings come out Tuesday night. Going to be excited for that. I'm not even excited. Like, I'm not really looking forward. Obviously, I'm looking forward to who's going to be in the top 4, but I'm more interested to see who's going to end up 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm really intrigued to see where the committee's gonna put Miami, where they're gonna put Alabama, and where they're gonna put Ohio State. Georgia, I already know for sure they're gonna end up at the 6th or 5th spot, but I'm not sure where they're gonna put Alabama, where they're gonna put Miami, or where they're gonna put Ohio State. Ohio State's been playing well, so it's gonna be interesting to see. But other than that, that's all I'm gonna be looking out for tonight. And let's see, what do we got for the Thursday night game? Thursday night game, we got Redskins at Cowboys. That's gonna be it's not the best looking game, but it's going to be a game nonetheless. I'll be watching it. So, yeah, you got that Thursday night, Redskins at Cowboys. But other than that, that's going to be it for our show. This was a fun one throughout. Went on a few rants. I love going on my rants. But, yeah, like I said, that's going to be it for today's show. And thanks for listening. This is the GSMC Football Podcast. And I'm your host, Jesse Tapia. And we'll be back on Friday. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.